guys, it's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite support in all of Dota right now. I talked about him in the top 3 heroes for every role. That was the video yesterday, and I mentioned that I think he's one of the best supports in Dota. And the reason why I think Pugna is one of the best supports in Dota is his versatility and consistency. I think out of all of the supports in Dota, he's maybe the most reliable hero in the game. And the reason why I feel this way is Nether Blast for the laning stage is one of the most incredible abilities in the game. It has good range, a 5-second cooldown, which is so low, only 85 mana for a very high-end hero, and it does 100 damage in a massive AoE. This ability is crazy. Nether Ward is just a very strong ability, which typically does 100 damage minimum for every nuke cast in a team fight. So this ability usually does like 2,000 damage in a fight or more as the game progresses. Like, this ability just inherently does so much. And then Life Drain is just a great ability. 120 heal per second, that's a nerfed number. So 120 heal per second, and the flat 160 damage per second coming out from this ability is absolutely incredible. We're going to be following my teammate and friend Moose here today. He's ranked 23 in all of North America as a support. Okay, so if you guys are saying, I can't get to the next rank, I can't do it, it's impossible, I'm a support, I have to play core. No, you don't. Just learn from people like Moose. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken and really take your game to the next level, I'm going to be able to help you, because sometimes the guides on YouTube, there's either not enough of them, they're not specific, or they're just tier lists, which I know you guys love, but at the end of the day, the Game League website is going to help you get to the next level. So click the link down below and sign up. Alright, getting into it, his starting item build is pretty standard. Sometimes you'll see extra sentry ward or a clarity, but he goes for a blood grenade, 2 branches, stick, and tangos. You want to maximize on every single efficient starting item for this hero because trading is the name of the game. Now in this lane in particular, he's actually against one of the weaker lanes in Dota, and that's Oracle PL. Neither of these heroes really do anything early on, and so it's very important he's aggressive as humanly possible. His positioning right here in between the two heroes is often a bad idea. However, because of the fact that this lane is so bad, especially against something like Pugna Axe, one of the stronger lanes in Dota, he should play like a bit of a psycho. You can see trading into the Oracle, right? He's literally moving into the Oracle, which often is a bad idea because it can kind of put you out of position, but due to the fact that your hero has 4 armor, 330 movement speed, good damage, incredible attack range, and one of the best nukes in the game, you just obliterate people, as not only is he able to get about 2 to 3 right clicks on PL, he also wins the trade against the Oracle at the same exact time. Now, one of the most important plays on Pugna is going for pulls. Because this hero is going to chip people down and get them low, assuming you're auto-attacking well and spamming your Nether Blast, and I want you guys to see that he's really low on mana, only 94 mana remaining, which maybe is even a little bit too low, but the point being is that you really want to drop as low as you can because you're trying to win the early trades. Winning the early trades, in turn, will allow you to pull. I do recommend buying a sentry and unblocking the pull if possible. I think it's a massive mistake from the enemy Oracle to allow him to have a side pull this early on into the lane, but if you're given the luxury, definitely take the luxury. In terms of the next items he ships out a Clarity and then a Salve. You can see his mindset here. Buy regen and dominate the lane. And from there, he's going to chase out the Oracle, and now that Oracle is completely zoned, it's really easy for him to bounce between the position 5, zone them out because your hero's ridiculous, and then swap onto the safe laner and then zone them out. And you kind of just go back and forth. First, you push the 5 out of attack range and out of spell range, and then you move on to the safe lane, and that's how you're going to trade optimally. From there, he puts down another ward, and this kind of makes it really hard for the enemy to trade because let's say Oracle wants to cast his E. How it works is it does a flat 50 damage, and then for every mana you cast, it does an extra 1 damage per mana. So it does 125 damage. That's ridiculous. If Oracle casts 2 abilities, he's gonna take like 300 damage, like 275 damage, something stupid, right? You can't fight. You can't fight into this ability, you have to try to kill it, but it's on the ground, and it takes 4 hits to kill, which you're not killing. And so now the Oracle can't even cast his Q defensively if he wants to, right? Because if he does so, he's just going to die to the Nether Ward. So he has to try to run away. PL cast Doppel to like, I don't even know why PL cast Doppel, but he takes damage from the Nether Ward. So Nether Ward in the laning stage at the right time can unironically be a 300 to 400 damage nuke if used in lanes where they have active abilities, which most lanes will. So yeah, just really keep this in mind. In some lanes, it's good to take Decrepify. If you're against something like Anti-Mage and the guy is chasing down your offlaner a lot, or they're going to try to all-in someone with something like a Phantom Strike or a Tombstone from Undying, Phantom Strike from Phantom Assassin, examples like this where they're all-inning, especially long cooldowns. If you can kite long cooldowns with Decrepify, that is a great idea and should be considered. From there, if you push them out of lane, you want to get the Lotus as much as humanly possible, as this hero really does want to use the mana a lot. He's going to give a Tango to his offlaner, good awareness, and takes the second point in Nether Blast, which makes it a 5-second cooldown, 180 damage nuke, which is pretty damn insane, as he's going to look to continue to trade and just blast down this Oracle. And at this point, he even plays extremely aggressive, but this is the power of the Pugna. Look at the Oracle. I'm just going to play that again for you guys. I mean, the poor guy, to be fair, this Oracle's positioning is beyond bad, all right? The guy's rank 1000. So no offense to him, but his positioning, considering he's playing Oracle with a Phantom Lancer who cannot help him, he should be very defensive. But he's not, and Moose understands this and is going to punish it, and that's what makes him really high MMR. He understands when people are out of position. Oracle casts his Q and immediately takes 100 and some odd damage. I think in this case, it's 150 magic damage, obviously before resistances, but then if he tries to cast his E, which I think he did there, he just killed himself. Like, the Oracle just died. Just straight up died. And so yeah, now the PL tries to commit. He actually gets outplayed here. This PL hits him with a little doppel juke, and he did have a stick and a Lotus, so unfortunate. It was unfortunate. From there, his next items are going to continue to double down on the laning stage: Magic Wand, raindrops, then the boots, just everything you need to continue to sustain your mana pool, your HP pool, and really dominate the lane. You can rotate mid and refill the mid's bottle if you ever end up dying. Your hero is pretty decent at contesting runes and stacking, so definitely keep that in mind. But I think he kind of just sees this as an opportunity to fully bully out the Phantom Lancer, and I definitely agree with him to a large extent. When you get this far ahead against a hero like PL doesn't get stronger. If anything, he tends to get weaker against Vanguard heroes like Axe, and therefore you can get really aggressive and continue to bully the lane. Now, after the laning stage ends, there's a couple things you want to do that I really suggest. Number one, look for a lane to farm. Unless you've completely dominated your lane, you're not going to be level 6 before minute 10, and especially you're not going to be level 6 even when you get the Wisdom Rune, which he did this game. So you want to look for the open lane. Like, really here, I love that he goes mid. I know it seems like a basic play or whatever, but in my opinion, this is a big deal and it's important. If you're trying to become a top tier support player, you have to know how to hit your spike as fast as you can. And in this case, it's level 6, and you know, he's exactly going to hit that. He gets his level 6, gets his life drain, and life drain is just one of the most ridiculous spells in the game. 160 damage per second, and it heals you. Now, typically getting towards the 10-minute mark, guys, what you want to do around this stage of the game is stack Ancients and play mid. I really think that this game Moose actually didn't stack as much as maybe he should have, but and that's really my only criticism of this early game. But I will say that I think this is the right idea, which is like going mid, placing a sentry, and just fighting for the mid tower. Especially when you have Pango and Veno, you know what I mean? You have two heroes with very strong early game nukes. You have Poison Sting from the Veno, you have Swashbuckle from the Pango, you have Rolling Thunder, you have Nether Ward, Nether Blast, Life Drain. You have such strong early game abilities, and so I think it's very reasonable for them to kind of just poke at this mid tower and take it over time. He has the mana boots, so he can start to spam Nether Blast on towers. I would say before mana boots, don't really use your Q on towers very much. You're going to run out of mana and not have spells to fight, and so that's just not a good idea, right? Try to avoid that as much as you can. But yeah, I really like that he's mid, and I think a lot of players don't understand the importance of playing mid when you're these heroes that don't roam very well. Instead of running around and trying to set up kills, just play to pressure the mid tier 1 tower. Pugna is obviously one of the best supports in the game at doing this because he fights well early on and takes towers. Now, this upcoming rotation for Moose is incredibly high skill and shows the real damage output of Pugna, and the reason why this hero is not only a save hero and a tower take hero, but also kind of the +1 to a lot of ganks. And I know I said that you don't really want to gank too much, but if your allies have a lot of control, and I'm talking about stuns and slows, primarily stuns, then Life Drain actually will do work. Life Drain has a pretty bad cast range, and so you really need stuns to make it work. But if you have those stuns, which he has Axe and Void this game, specifically Faceless Void in the early game, then he can make that work. And the awareness to look bottom here is great. I don't know if he got called bottom or was just paying attention, but it's a really cool play that he TPs to a full HP Earth Spirit. Like, this guy, if I'm playing position 4, I'm not going to assume he dies. At least I wouldn't have. And so, you know, he has better judgment than me here. This is why he's a 4 player and I'm not. He has the better early game judgment. And he's going to TP in, drop the Nether Ward, drop the Blast. He's going to not Decrep, which is smart with a Faceless Void, and then Life Drain. And it's just a lot of damn damage. Right, you can see it just takes this guy out. He casts some abilities to try to escape. The Nether Ward is then going to hit him. Time Dilation slows him down, prevents another roll, and they chase him down and pick up the kill. And this was, it was just very impressive to me. It kind of shows the overall damage output of this hero. And now when you're having a good game on this hero, you want to go Aether Lens. If your game isn't that good, or you just think you need like some physical block or whatever, you can go Pavis or Drums, or you can even just rush Glimmer Cape if your team needs some magic resistance. You know, you just have to see it on the game. Now in this upcoming fight here, we're going to see the real power of Pugna. I do have a little bit of a critique for Moose, and for everyone who plays Pugna, I think that the shard is good early game for 2 main reasons. Number 1, it can kill illusions, which is why I think kind of the reason he bought it this game. He's against Phantom Lancer, and so Phantom Lancer clicks Doppelganger in the team fights, and you put down the Nether Ward, and then you suck it. How it works is you life drain every enemy hero within 700 units, every single one, and that includes illusions. However, illusions get one shot by life drain, and so it actually completely kills every Terrorblade illusion, Naga illusion, PL illusion, they all go away. Not CK illusions because they're different, but it does actually wipe out all of these illusions. And so it's kind of good in this matchup, but at the same time, I would have personally, if I'm him, picked up a Glimmer Cape here just to make sure that the Earth Spirit cannot kill me, or a Force Staff to make it hard for Timbersaw to kill me. I just think when you're having a good game on Pugna and you have this Aether Lens, it's best to optimize your ability to survive because you're just going to pump out damage as long as you're alive. And that's how I view the hero. I'm personally a longtime player of this Aether Lens Pugna build, and you just destroy people from the backline, and we'll see it in this fight here. Just playing the outside, you're going to drop down the Nether Ward, which is always what you lead with. I think you should have placed it a little bit more to the left if we're going to be technical, because, you know, you just want to make sure people don't hit it. I guess it's okay sometimes if people hit it, but like generally not. As the fight breaks out here, he's going to life drain and take out the techies. From there, when your life drain is on cooldown, it's okay to kind of just kite to the outside of the fight. He corrupts his axe, which maybe wasn't necessary, but, you know, that's typically what you want to do if people are getting gone on. From there, he's going to kite to the outside. I like his positioning, patient, staying away from the magnetize. As Earth Spirit psychotically rolls in, he's going to punish and absolutely destroy the guy, setting up for the axe dunk. And the fight continues on, and this is why Pugna's so good. From the backline, you just continue to have impact as he sucks the Oracle off and kills him, has another Nether Blast, and then finishes off the Timber with another, oh no, it doesn't get the life drain off. But yeah, you can just see the impact you have in these early game fights, guys. Compared to other support heroes, you're a step above as long as you have this Aether Lens as the position for it. You just do way too much if your positioning is good. The key though is the positioning. You can't die. Now, as we move on into the mid game, I kind of just really want to touch on Nether Ward and why I think this ability is pretty broken in some games, especially against a hero like Timbersaw that is going to spam pretty high mana abilities on a very low cooldown. It just makes these heroes pretty unplayable in the mid game. Like, it honestly feels that way because every single time Timber casts an ability, at least with 3 points in Nether Ward, he's going to take 70 base damage, which is already pretty decent, and then 1.4 damage per mana on top of that. If he's casting about 300 mana worth of spells, he's going to be taking about 340 damage, plus 70 times 3, so another 210. So he's going to take 550 damage from casting his 3 spells. It's getting like Finger of Death. You know what I mean? Well, level 1, but you get the point. And you think he's going to do that once? No, he's going to cast 2 rounds of spells. So he's just getting nuked for like $1,000 from one ability if the fight plays out near the Nether Ward, and that is what the ability does. I mean, look at what the Oracle does. Oracle W's himself, just gets chunked, and when people are decrepified, it amps the damage of the Nether Ward. Right, the Timber's going to come over here and chains, takes 130 damage, flat out. Comes through, he's going to cast his Q, takes another 121. He kites out. If he wants to chain out again, which he of course will, he will take another 130. You can't, like, this guy is just getting whittled down by a single ability. You know what I mean? And obviously then it applies to everyone, and that's what's so crazy about this spell. Now in team fights, the key is just having good positioning and being very patient. You don't really want to play to life drain enemies unless your team is trying to burst someone down. Typically in the mid game, you want to more so play to save teammates because you can life drain teammates from usually further away than you can life drain enemies. And so it allows you to stay in position and just kind of get off good decreps, a good Nether Ward, and good life drains. Obviously, if someone overextends really hard and you've kind of damaged yourself a little bit from healing your allies, you do actually want to suck the enemies to make sure that you can actually heal up. For instance here, right? Chrono comes out on the Timber, and it makes a ton of sense to life drain the guy instead of your teammates when they all are pretty damn safe. From there, you just want to place your Netherward and look to heal up your allies, right? Pango goes in, and so he's going to be very, very low, and now you can just heal the hell out of him. I mean, look at this healing. 210 healing, guys, per second, and so this guy just heals not the full, but like pretty damn well. Unfortunately, the fight ends up going poorly as the enemy team bought back a little bit, and their Faceless Void overextended, but you can see the power of the Zero from the back line. Alright, and finally, to end off the video, let's look at one more team fight going near the high ground. Also, I highly recommend if you're playing this Zero to try to pick it with drafts that will group up. I guess to be fair, in pubs, people just tend to group up no matter what, so you're probably fine. Just you don't really want to play Pugna in a game where the enemy team is like split pushing a ton and you're like trying to pick people off and play like the split map game, because you don't have any real stun. Your Decrep is kind of a weird slow that's dispellable. Netherward isn't that valuable in that context. So yeah, you just want these team fights where you can kind of place this defensive Netherward, Nether Blast the racks from a far range. You can see heals up the Void to full, right, preventing him from being in burst range. And with the Tranquil Boots, because in terms of items, let's quickly discuss it. The Glimmer Cape makes you take less magic damage, and that actually applies to your ult when you're sucking people. And so it makes it with the Tranquil Boots where you actually really don't take much damage at all from healing your allies. And he took about 1/8 of his health to heal up like 1/3 of the Void's health. You know what I mean? It's not even close. And so he can kite the outside, gets down a good Netherward, looks for the Chrono, but you can't really help him out here. So just playing the backline, very patient. I like it, right? Doesn't need to force anything. Don't do anything crazy. Wait out the BKBs. Kind of wait for things to play out. Void is going to time lapse into the back. Maybe he could look to heal Axe here or heal Void, which I think he's considering. He drops the Lotus. I think he's thinking about maybe life draining the Netherward to actually take out some of the illusions, and that is what he does here. So he takes out some of the illusions, which I think is a great option against Phantom Lancer, right? In the team fights, if the PL ever goes in, which this PL is playing like such a wuss, and maybe it's because the PL knows if he commits and the Pugna sees that, Moose is just going to life drain the Netherward, and all of his illusions are going to be gone. He's going to be completely isolated with no W, and he's likely going to die as a result. So yeah, he goes in, going to look for a Decrepify on the Axe, try to save him. Unfortunately, it gets purged, but another heal comes out. From there, he just has to Glimmer Cape himself, as he does. He's going to kite out there, and his team's getting pretty low, but another life drain onto the Netherward is going to soak up the illusions, and yes, team is just healed up and healed up and healed up, and as the fight ends, he can do it again, right? If someone needs healing, which this Axe does here, you can heal them. By the way, once they're full HP, the life drain will then give mana, and this is why we constantly see the combo of Storm Spirit plus Pugna at the professional level. Let's quickly talk about the talents, and then yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. So for Pugna's talents, and for his final items, typically you just kind of triple down on these defensive items, these cheaper defensive items, which is why I really like his build. The 4-staff, the Glimmer, you just want to be able to stay alive and stay in the back line. From there, at level 10, you typically take 200 health, especially against something like Timber and Earth Spirit, who are going to hunt you in the back line. It's nice to have the health. If the enemy team doesn't have any backline jump, you can take movement speed. It's a decent option. At level 15, you always take Netherward health. It's just, this ability is so good and you want to keep it alive. From there at level 20, honestly, this one can go either way. I've seen people take both. Just depends on the game. I would say Life Drain Heal is probably a little bit better if you're playing the backline support Pugna. And then finally, at level 25, you take the Netherward damage per mana almost every single game. It just doubles the amount of damage people take, more than doubles actually now, the amount of damage people take when they cast their abilities, right, per mana. And so if a hero like Skywrath Mage commits his entire kit, he'll take like half his health minimum. I've seen people nearly get one-shot by this talent. It's pretty damn insane. And you can have 2 Netherwards down at the same time if you have Octarine Core, and then people really kill themselves. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!